think of Trane Technologies, we're a global HVAC player, okay? So think about heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. We're also a leader in transport refrigeration with our Thermo King brand. We're a pure play climate innovator. And, our purpose is to challenge what's possible and innovate for a sustainable world. And over the last 6 years, we've had just a great run. I mean, our compound annual growth rate on the top line is 11%, a little bit over 11%. And on the bottom line, it's over 20%. So I'm super proud of what our team's been able to accomplish. And as I always tell people, we've had a great run over the last 5+ years, but the future looks even brighter than what I saw 5 years ago.
And the company itself, I mean, I'm familiar with you guys from your home product, which is a smaller portion of your portfolio. But the company itself has existed in some form since 1913. And you've been around, well, almost that long. No, I'm just kidding. But you did start,
Man,
at the company, not in existence.
I just got a compliment when I came down. Someone said, "You look younger than me." I said, "Okay."
I'm sorry. I meant duration you've been at the company. But you started as an intern.
I started as an intern back in 1985, just to date me a bit here. But yeah, I mean, when I came out of college, I was going to go into investment banking. And I decided, no, I'll take this opportunity and go learn a business. And I figured I'd be there for just a short period of time. But I just had so many different roles in the company. I kept advancing to different areas of the company. And people always ask me, well, how'd you get to where you are? Is it luck or hard work? I tell them, the luckier I get, the harder I work, right? But it's just, I've had the opportunity to run all the businesses that we have in the company today. So I know them very, very well. And it's just such a great company. When I started as CEO, and I've been the CEO now for coming up on my 5th year, I knew we were a great operator and I knew we were a great innovator, but we weren't thought of as a growth company.
Why not?
Because we weren't growing at the rates that we should be growing at. And I knew we had every opportunity to be this growth company. And trust me, you don't become a growth company just because the CEO puts it on a PowerPoint and say, hey, let's become a growth company.
If only.
It doesn't work quite that way. But one of the things that we did was we had to change the mindset. So we have, as I'm sure most companies do, we have an annual operating plan, and that kind of sets every business's plan for the year. And I won't say it was a negotiation, but it kind of felt like it at times. Like people wanted a lower number because nobody wants to miss their forecast. And early on, we changed it. And we basically said, so the first business comes in, presents their operating plan to us. And I was like, 2 or 3% growth, right? Which is, incremental. So the assignment that they took away, I said, come back in 2 weeks, and I want you to tell us, my CFO and myself, what you need to invest to grow at 15%.
Swing for the fences.
Yeah, and so here we are. So roll forward. Each business comes back 2 weeks later, and they come back with these investments. And my CFO was kicking me under the table, saying, "Dave, I don't know if we could afford all these." I said, "No, it's not. They'll never be able to spend that amount of money." But by the way, I need a mindset shift change, and that was kind of the catalyst for us to start thinking about, hey, we can be a growth company. We are going to invest.
You mentioned your optimism for the future. We're at a moment where so many businesses are being disrupted by AI or have the potential to be disrupted by AI. Talk about your involvement in this boom in data centers that I mentioned just a moment ago. Suffice to say, you might not have predicted that a few years back, but this has become a huge growth opportunity for you, a huge driver of the growth that you're talking about.
Sure. I mean, look, data centers, we've always been strong in the data center vertical. Okay, but we're also very strong in other core verticals, and we track 14 different verticals, and data centers is one. But data centers has been very, very strong, and we're part of the thermal management system within a data center. So data centers produce a lot of heat. That heat has to be removed. We're the company that helps the data center OEMs remove that heat, and it's really through chiller technologies. It's through what they call CDUs, or cooling distribution units, fan walls. There's lots of different components that make up that thermal management system. But we're a leader in that space, but we've been a leader in that space for decades.
But this is kind of controversial because these data centers are going into areas and they're driving up energy costs. And as much as people like to chat GPT things, they also like to not pay a ton for energy bills. Is there a balance to be struck there?
Yeah, I believe there is, because, well, like I said, we're very strong in other verticals, right? And we need the intelligence from data centers to help us make buildings smarter. And if you think most buildings, they use about 40% of the energy in a building. And by the way, globally, 30% of all energy is for buildings. but 40% of that is for heating and cooling.
Wow.
And we know most buildings operate very inefficiently, like 30% inefficiently, a very conservative number. We've developed algorithms to make buildings smarter. And this is why I'm so excited about the future.
Dave, talk a bit about who you're hiring to work for your company. So I mentioned 45,000 employees. Are you able to find the kind of workers that you need in this environment? I know that there are reports that this is a difficult labor market for a lot of people. Who are you looking for, and what is the training process like for those new employees?
Yeah, great question. Look, 5 years ago, when we started as Trane Technologies, or 6 years ago now, we had 35,000 employees. Today we have over 45,000 employees. So growth companies create job opportunities. I'll start with that. Now you need to be able to recruit the right talent, like service technicians, right? We're always looking for great service technicians. And we learned during the COVID period that it's really hard to recruit these positions and find the right talent. So we developed an apprenticeship program. And today the apprenticeship program is now backed by the Department of Labor. I believe we have about 400 employees that are part of this apprenticeship program. And by the way, depending on your experience, this apprenticeship program could be 2 years to 4 years. And here we're just changing lives of people. We now use our hourly workforce as a place to recruit for the apprenticeship program for technicians. Whether it works or not, you're going to learn a lot by saying yes and understanding what someone else's problems are, right? And that's our whole mindset. And we love being close to customers. We love working towards yes, and we love our innovation.
Dave, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, for being our very first CEO Saturday, C-Suite Saturday guest.
I feel privileged to be here. So thank you very much, and thanks for your time today, and good luck with your show.